Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to another lecture. In today's class, we are going to study in detail about the pestle analysis. In our last lecture, we understood that in order to make a good strategy, we have to perform the environment analysis. All right. And when we were talking about the environment analysis, we got to know that there are two types of environment in which every company operates. The one which is the internal environment analysis, which is within the boundary of the company or the business, and the environment that is outside the boundary of the company or the business, that is called the external environment analysis. And we also studied that when we talk about the external environment analysis, right, or the external environment, then again we have two layers. One is the country environment analysis, which talk about the environment of the whole country or the region. We also call it general or the macro environment. And then also we have the another layer, that is the micro environment, or I would say industry or the specific environment. In that environment, we talk about the specific industry or the specific market in which your company is operating. All right. And we also call this environment the specific, the micro, or the industry environment, right? So now let's move ahead, and as we promised that in this class we are going to study about the Pestel analysis. We are going to cover the Pestel model. So here we are, the country environment analysis. We were performing the country environment analysis, and we have understood that in order to perform the country environment analysis, the model we use is basically the Pestel analysis. Why do we use the Pestel analysis and how it helps us? Obviously, you will get to know this by the end of this lecture. But let me tell you a very quick reason that how this Pestel analysis helps us. Because when I talk about the Pestel analysis, it means that P stands for political environment, E stands for economical environment, S stands for social, T stands for technological, E stands for ecological, L stands for legal environment, right? So whenever a business or whenever a business leader covers all these six aspects, and perform the analysis over these six criteria or six aspects, it will cover the whole country. Because when you will talk about the political environment, it will talk about the whole country, the economic, the social life, the ecological life, the technological advancement or the technological um, status of the country, and the legal system of the country. Again, these all things relates to the country level or to the specific country or the region in which you are operating. So whenever you will perform the analysis on these things, they will always enable you to understand the country in a good way. And also these six things collectively covers the whole country environment, whole aspects, all factors which exist in the country. All right, because you name any factor, you name anything, I can relate or I can connect that factor which you will name with any of these heading, because there cannot be any factor within the country which is not related to them. So these are the very comprehensive, these are the very complete aspects which you can use to perform the or you to understand the country environment, right? So that is why we use the Pestel model. Now let's move forward and one by one dig down into each aspect and see how we are going to study or analyze each of that environment. All right. So here we are with the first aspect or the first content of the Pestel analysis, that is the political environment. That is the political environment. that stands for P. So whenever I talk about the political environment, if you want to understand the political environment of any country or any region, what you need to do? You need to do that you should focus on the political factors, right? When you will focus on the political factor, then only you can understand the political environment of that country. All right. And when you will understand the political environment of that country, you will obviously find few things. These things, as we have discussed earlier, that they are either going to be favorable for you or they are going to be unfavorable for you. We will discuss them in detail in a bit, but let me just, construct the structure in your mind that how you are going to perform the political environment analysis. So, in order to understand the political environment, you need to identify the political factor. So now the question arises that how we are going to identify the political factors. All right. So the answer is that whenever you are required to identify the political factors, whenever you are trying to identify the political factors, you should focus on policy makers, because the political word, it is derived from the policy. So when you are focusing on the policy factors, focus on the policy makers, because when you will focus on the policy makers, only then you will be able to identify the political factors which are existing in your environment. And who are the policy makers? So the one who are in the government, the people who are in the government, all right, they have the power to make the policies, they have the power to make the rules, regulation, laws, right? They have the power to legitimize something, to make something illegal, to make something legal, to promote something, to demote something. you know when I talk about the policy, the policy means that whatever thing you can do and whatever things you can not do. So this is basically the policy. So in any organization, in anywhere you go, they first tell you their policies. What does the policy mean? Policy means that these are the things which you can do, these are the things which you cannot do. If you will do something that is not allowed, you will be punished. If you will do something that is allowed or that is promoted, you will be rewarded. So these are the basically crux of the policy. So when you need to understand the policy or the policy political factors, focus on the policy maker. Then you will identify that what they are thinking, how they are going to affect your business, right? So the government, then the potential future government. You know, as we said that the strategy, it's a long term decision, right? It's a long term decision. So don't you think that when you are analyzing the political environment, you should keep it in your mind that you should analyze the political environment for the longer period or the longer term. Because if your government, the current government, you know that this government is going to be ruled out in like 1 year or 2 years, then the new government will come. The new government will come, will make new policies, will make new rules, will make new laws and regulation. Maybe it will promote imports, maybe they will not promote imports, maybe they will promote the exports, maybe they will not, maybe they will impose new taxes on your business, on your purchases, on your sales, or maybe the foreign trades, they are not going to be very good. They are not going to, maybe there is a country to whom you export your major sales, and the new government, they are going to come and they are going to violate or they are going to disturb the relations between your country and the country in which you exports your products. Don't you think that it is going to have the effect on your business? Huh? This is going to obviously have an impact on your business. For example, you are thinking that we are going to invest heavily in a plant, in a machinery that is going to make the product which we are going to export. All right. Obviously, it's a long term decision. It's a Long-term decision. And when you have installed this plant and machinery, you have made $1 billion of investment, and next morning you come to know that the current government who was promoting the exports, who was making the good trade or the foreign relationship with the other countries where you can export your goods, now you come to know that the government has been ruled out, and the new government is coming, and that new government is not going to promote the export. It is going to place the huge tariffs, huge taxes, huge duties on your exports that will make your product very expensive in the global market. Don't you think it is going to put a lot of pressure on your business? It is going to create a lot of disadvantage and harm to your business. Obviously it is going to. That means that while understanding the political factors, your focus is on policymakers, but in that policymakers you should also consider the future government as well, because they are the one who can affect your long term decision making, who can affect your long term success, who can affect your long-term achievement of the business objective. Remember this thing, right? Then there are in many countries the non-government agency or the establishment, they are also in such a state or in such a position, they have such a power that despite not being into the government, despite not being the part of government, they have this power, they have this authority that they can do anything. They can do and make any law. They can legitimize anything. They can make anything illegal. They can stop anything. They can do anything. Whatever they want to do, they can do. They are the policy makers, right? In some countries, so you have to have a very tight focus on them as well, what they are thinking. If they are thinking to do something that is going to harm your business, obviously you need to align your interest with them. You have to stay away with something that they do not like or they are going to demote. So you're not going to do anything which is contradictory to their plans, to their long term policies, right? So that you are not harmed, your business is not harmed, right? So the thing is that these one, two, three, these are the people who has the authority to create and implement the laws and regulations, and you should focus on them. When you will focus on them, ultimately you would be able to identify the political factors, such as when I talk about the political factors, these are, now I'm giving you the examples. That's whether they are going to support the stable business environment or not. Because obviously, when you are doing any business, when you are making any decisions, don't you think that the stable business environment is very important? Let me give you an example of a client where I work. The client, there was a tax credit, there was a tax credit, if you will give the dividend, if you will give the dividend to your subsidiary, to your subsidiary, it will be exempt. That means no tax. All right, no tax. Let me write it, no tax. All right, that was the law. Okay, my client got to know this. My client said, okay, if I would make a subsidiary, I will earn the profit from that subsidiary, and that subsidiary will give dividends to me because I'm a parent. That's a subsidiary company, that's a parent company. Profits will come here, the dividend will go there, and no tax on that dividend. All right, so the client made this arrangement. All right, client made a new company, appointed new employees, appointed new management, everything was established. After 2 years, after 3 years, what government did? Government said no exemption, nothing. It is removed from the law. My client was very angry. My client was very furious that I made this whole structure. I made this new company just for the sake of this exemption which you were giving, and now you are saying that it is not there. Are you fool? Do you think I am a fool? What is this stupid thing? Right? So that is why the business always like the stable business environment in which the laws, regulation, policies are consistent, so that they can do the planning for the long term, 5 year, 10 years, 15 years, and they can avail the benefit from that planning, from that strategy, right? That's the one thing. Stable or unstable political situation. Again, if you think that the political situation itself is unstable, the government is such a unstable position that you never know that when the government will be changed and the new government will come, and which new government is going to come, you are not sure about it as well. So you cannot do any planning, you cannot do any investment, because you never know what is going to happen. If whatever it is going to happen, whether it is beneficial for me and whether it is non-beneficial for me, you cannot predict and you cannot do anything, and that will stop your business from becoming successful to grow, right? Then government's motive, interest, priorities, and future plans. You need to understand this thing, that what are the government motives? What are their manifestos? We all know that whenever there are elections, all the electing parties, they sell their manifestos. They tell you that these are our motives, these are our plans, how we are going to change the fortunes of the company. We are going to promote the industries, we are going to promote the manufacturers, we are going to promote the exports, we are going to promote the employment, we are going to reduce the tariffs, we are going to reduce the energy prices, we are going to do this, and this thing, they are going to, help you. So in these all things, you need to check whether there is something that is going to be non-beneficial for you. For example, if the government is saying that we are going to promote the local goods, so that means they are going to put the ban on imports, and you are the one who are selling the imported goods. Don't you think that it is going to hurt your business badly? Obviously it is going to. So that is the thing you need to understand, right? And then the foreign affairs or the foreign trade condition, you need to understand that how your foreign trade conditions are, how the relationship with the foreign countries are, because obviously as a business, you import many things, you export many things, and there might be a situation that you are importing such a crucial or such a essential raw material that is very useful for you, and if the foreign trade conditions, they are very bad and you cannot buy anything, like the imposition of the sanction on the Iran, Afghanistan, Russia. So these kind of things obviously put a lot of pressure on the business, that if the business is not getting the ingredients or the essential components which it needs to make its product, then it will be having a lot of troubles and lot of issues, right? So when you will identify, or you will focus on the political factors, you will identify the factors like them. And what your job is? Your job is to identify and analyze them. Analyze them. When you will analyze them, you will come to know either they are favorable, either they are unfavorable. If these things aligns with your business, that means they are favorable. If they do not align with your business, that means they are unfavorable. And that is what the theme of the Pestel analysis is. That first you will identify the factors. Then you will analyze them and see that whether they are favorable and whether they are unfavorable. And based on that, what strategy you should adopt, right? So that's the very fundamental step in making the strategy. So now if we are clear with the political environment analysis, we will move forward towards the economical environment analysis. All right. So now let's go towards the economical environment analysis. So when I talk about the economical environment analysis, it's very easy. Now that you have understood the political environment analysis, I will just change the perspective or the focus on which you should look at, right? I will change your focus and it will, make a new angle, right? So let me just explain you. So when in political environment analysis, what you need to do? In political environment analysis, you are focusing on the political factors. In economical environment analysis, you should be focusing on the economical factors. It is likewise. But see, the economical factors example, they are here. The economical factors examples such as the inflation rate, are they rising or they are decreasing? Disposable income or the purchasing power of the people, economic growth, is it going upward, is it going downward? economic cycle, boom or recession, rate of returns, exchange rate, interest rates. You know what? All these things, sir, how they are relevant to us, how they are going to impact us. That is the thing which you need to understand. Let me make you understand that eventually all of these things, they are going to impact either your revenues or your cost. How? Obviously, if the inflation rates are increasing, that means the cost of your purchases, the cost of your raw material, the cost of the plant, machinery, technology, employees, wages, everything is going to increase, right? And if your costs are increasing, ultimately your profits will go down. All right. Disposable income or the purchasing power of the people, if it is increasing, that means that the people will buy more. It's kind of a trend in many countries that whenever the people receive their salary, all right, in first 15 days, they spend the major portion of their salary in shopping and everywhere, because when I was in Saudi Arabia, there there has to be this there used to be this trend, right? That whenever the people receive their salary in first 15 days, there used to be a lot of traffic on the road. There used to be a lot of traffic and public in the malls, supermarkets. Why? Because they has this trend of expending. They had this trend of spending money, because the disposable income in Saudi Arabia, this was very high, right? The purchasing power of people, it was very high, and these were not the kind of people who think about saving things. Obviously, it's a developed nation, right? So if they are having a good purchasing power, good disposable income, they will purchase more, it will increase your revenue and it will increase your profits. All right. So you have to again see, is it unfavorable or favorable? Obviously, if it is increasing the profit, it's a favorable thing. If it is decreasing your profit, it's an unfavorable thing, right? So this is how you are going to look at them, right? Let us, look at every other aspect as well. So the economical growth, if the economical growth is going upward, that means that the economy is going in a good condition. The inflation is going to go down. The disposable income of the people is going to go down, go up. They will purchase more. Um, you will get new ventures, good investments, because when the economic conditions are good, the people have more money, and the more money they have, the more they like to invest, right? So you will be getting the easy investment which you can use to scale up, to expand your business, right? So that is how the economic condition is going to help you. Then the economic cycle, is it in the boom? Is it in the recession? So if it is in the boom, obviously it is going to advance all the things that the economic activities are going to advance. The production, the purchasing, the distribution, the supply, um, the employment, everything, it is going to go up, everything is going to scale up. Why? The economy is in boom. But similarly, if the economy is in recession, that means that every activity is going to slow down. The people are not getting the employment, they are not getting the salary, they are not purchasing anything, the inflation is going high, the costs are increasing, the revenues are decreasing. All right. So this is going to harm your business. This is going to increase your cost, decrease your revenues, and ultimately it is going to be unfavorable thing for you. The rate of returns, obviously, the rate of returns. If the rate of returns are high, that means that you can earn more profit. You can earn more profit from your investment. So that is another thing. And also, if the rate of returns from the bank investment or any other thing is very low, that means that the people are not going to put their money into the bank accounts or the saving accounts, right? They're going to invest into the business. And if they are investing this money into the business, that means you are going to get the finance, you are going to get the capital very easily, right? So that is how the economic factors are going to impact your business. Because if you are getting the good finance, good money, that means that you can grow better, you can invest more, you can invest in new technology, new machinery, new system, you can develop your product, you can make your product advanced, and you can earn more revenues. All right. Exchange rates. So the exchange rate, if the exchange rate are high and you are exporter, it will be beneficial thing for you because you will be getting more money. If the exchange rates are low and you are exporting, it will be a non-beneficial thing for you because you will be getting less money. because the exchange rates are low. And likewise, in the importer case, if you are importer, if you are purchasing something outside the country, so then if the exchange rates are high, you will be having a huge cost because you have to pay more. And if you are importer and the exchange rates are low, it's a beneficial thing for you because you will have to pay less. All right. And the interest rate again, if the interest rates are high, that means your finance cost, because many companies they lease out asset. So the lease interest on the lease, they take the loans, they take the running finance, they take the working capital loans. So if the interest rates are high, that means your finance cost is going to increase. So if the cost is increasing, the profit will decrease, and it's an unfavorable thing for you. All right. So that is how, if you want to analyze the economical environment, whether it's a favorable, it is unfavorable. There can be multiple factors in the environment. Some could be favorable, some could be unfavorable, right? But how you can identify them? You can identify them by focusing on the economical factors such as these, and then you have to analyze whether they are favorable or whether they are unfavorable, right? So if we understand this thing, now let's move ahead and discuss about the social factor in detail, the way we have covered fiscal and the economical and economical environment analysis. All right. So let's move ahead and discuss about the another aspect or another content of the political fiscal analysis, that is the social environment, right? So now we are talking about, and now we are focusing on our social environment, and we are trying to understand it. So if you are trying to understand the social environment, my advice is to focus on people and the social life of the people. Once you will focus on them, you will identify the factors of the people or the social life, such as the population demographics. Like for example, what is the ratio of the male and females? All right. What is the ratio of the kids, adults, and the old people? Right. What is the ratio of the literacy? What is the ratio of the deaths? What is the birth rate? What is the death rate? So these kind of demographics you come to know, and accordingly you can plan, because obviously if you are let's say a retail outlet who is selling the clothes, so obviously your priority or your wish would be that you would be able to target the segment who is having the very large ratio in your country. For example, the ratio of the adults, it's the highest in your country, then obviously your focus would be on the adults clothing, adults accessories, adults items, right? Because they can earn you the very huge revenues. All right. So that is how you're going to think. For example, if you are in a country where the old people are in the huge ratio, the life expectancy is very high. That means the businesses who are taking care of the old people, who are making the products which are useful for the old people, like a wheelchair, the stands, the medicines for the old people, the old age home, the hospitals for the old people. So they are going to earn a lot profit, right? Why? Because they are aligning with the factors of the social environment. They are studying the social environment, right? And accordingly they are doing the thing. All right. Then the income distribution. So you need to understand that in your country, what is the income distribution, like the lower class, upper class, middle class, lower middle class, elite. So you have to understand that what is the ratio of each class, and accordingly you are going to position yourself that, for example, if the lower class ratio is very high in your country, then obviously you would be focusing on the lower class to earn the high revenues, right? To have the good market, the huge number of customers. Then and let's say if you are having you are operating in a country where the middle class people are in a huge ratio, then obviously your focus would be on the product which is useful or which is preferred by the middle class people who are a bit economical, but they also prefer the good quality as well. So you will try to balance things in such a way that they are attractive to the middle class people because they are in a huge ratio, and that is how you can become successful in that country, by aligning yourself with the social factors, lifestyle and the leisure activities that what the people of that country prefers. Are they into the leisure activities and the outings, or the the for example parties, the casinos, and these kind of activities? If they are into it, the beach party and they are of the nature that they like to explore, travel. So these kind of people expend more, right? Or your population is of a kind that likes to work a lot, they are workaholic and they are not into the leisure activities, they are not into the picnics, parties, traveling. So accordingly, you will invest, or you will enter into the business. If your population is not into leisure activities, they are not into lavish kind of lifestyle. Then you are not going to enter into such products which are used by the people who are into the leisure activities, such as the boating activities, such as the heavy bikes, the high end or the elite class cars, jewelries, the picnic accessories, or the traveling accessories, suitcase, these kind of things. But if they are not into these things, obviously, then you would be not investing in these kind of products or these kind of activities, right? And the preferences, what do they like, what do they don't like, what they think good, but what they do not think good, and accordingly you will adjust yourself. All right. The culture, beliefs, religious system, because it's a very sensitive thing, right? You have also seen this thing into the advertisement as well, that you sometimes use the religious festivals or the religious events into your marketing. Why you use them? You use them because you understand the political factor, the social factor, that if you are going to understand their cultural, religious beliefs, and you would market accordingly, then you would be able to attract more people. And if you will do contrary, and if you would go against their religious or the cultural belief, then you would face the backlash from them, and it could be very dangerous for you, right? And then the level of education and the consumerism. The level of education, obviously, it means that the more the people are educated, that means you are going to get the educated workforce, the professionals, the expert who can do the job in a better way, who can run your company in a good way, and they can serve your business. And the consumerism means that the consumerism means that what kind of goods they like to buy. Do they like to buy or spend on the thing who are of the consumer nature, like you use them and then it's end. For example, the food items, or for example the petrol, or kind of things which are of the consumer activity. For example, the clothes, the food items, the shoes, these kind of things are of the consumer nature. And when I talk about the capital nature, that means that the people, they like to invest into the capital nature things, like the cars, jewelry, land, flats, or I would say the property. So these kind of things, they are of the capital nature. So you need to understand and you need to identify that if your population is of the consumer nature, they are more towards the consumer nature things. That means that your business is going to increase. They are going to spend more and it will increase your revenues, right? But if they are into the capital activities, then you should invest, or you should do the business into the capital nature product market, right? So that you can earn profits and your business can grow, right? So the thing is that you have to understand the nature of the stakeholders, right? Not only the customers, you need to understand the nature of the people around you, right? And these are the stakeholders. And if it is aligned with you, that means it is favorable, and if it is not aligned with you, that means it is unfavorable, right? So I hope that it is clear. Now let's move forward towards another element of the Pestel analysis, that is the technological factor, right, or the technological environment. Now let's understand it in very detail. But before going into the details, let me just clear a very big misconception of many students. So when I say the word of the technological environment, it pops up a thing into our mind. It is about the technological gadgets, and that is not wrong. But the only issue is that the people confine their thoughts or their thinking. They stay limited to only technological gadgets whenever I talk about the technological environment, and that is wrong. That it is not only that in technological environment we will only consider the technological gadgets. It's a very vast world. It's a very vast terminology which you need to consider while you are performing the technological environment analysis and when you are identifying the technological factors. Now let's read them one by one. When we talk about the technological factor, you need to understand that the technology integration into your infrastructure, that how much and at what level the technology is integrated into your infrastructure, like whatever you do into the business at to what extent the technology is used into your business. Are the processes manual or are they automated? Like in some countries or in some jurisdiction, I've seen that, as I give you example, that when I was in Saudi Arabia, KSA, there was everything automated, from registration ID to passport scanning to boarding, onboarding, offboarding, everything. They were such, I would say, advanced and developed, that everything there was automated. Everything was integrated with the technology. And whereas if I go to the Asian countries, there is not that much advancement. There is not that much integration of the technology into everything. Like even if you are going to make a driving license, the technology is integrated there. But in our countries, it is not the case. There are people sitting, and you have to go through a lot of manual processes, and it takes a lot of time. But that's not, I'm not saying that something is good or something is bad. As a business leader, we are just going to analyze things, we are just going to identify things. So that is one of the aspect, right? Now again, how smoothly and rapidly people adopt to the new methods and the processes. Now the technological advancement or the technological environment, it also includes this thing that, the approach or the mentality of the people, that how much they are adaptable and how much they accept the new technology, new processes and the new methods. If the technology is very advanced, but the people, they are not accepting it, the people are not getting used to it, again there is no use of that technology, or that the technological environment, it is unfavorable for you, because the people are not getting used to of it. The people are not transitioning with with them smoothly, right? The ratio between the manual and the automated process, as we just discussed, pace of innovation, development, and the discoveries. The rate at which the new discoveries, new innovation, and the new developments are made into your country regarding the technology, regarding the gadgets, regarding the processes, regarding the methods. So it again, shows that how much the technologically advanced the country is, the environment is, and how much the quickly changes are coming. So you have to keep yourself updated, because if you would not do this, obviously you will stay behind everyone. And again, if you would stay behind everyone, your business will go into losses, the business will be winded up, right? Then availability of the skill labor, again, if you are looking at the technological factor, you have the advanced and the top notch quality technology, but you do not have the labor or the people who can use them. Again, the technology is of no use. That means that the technological factor includes the people as well who are going to use them, right? So the availability of the skill labor is again the part of the technological factor. And the use of internet and the online means in the daily life, again, how much the technology or the internet or the online things are integrated into your life. Nowadays, even the people, you know people are doing the calculations, the receivable, payable of the each other, or the the household or the consumer level things, they are doing it on the apps. Even when they are playing football, they are playing cricket or any sports, they are playing it physically, but they have the apps, to record the scorecard, or to record everything. So The thing is that nowadays the technology and the online or the e things or the internet or the online things are too much part of our life. So you have to identify this thing, that how much it is part of the life of the people in the country, how much quickly or rapidly the changes are coming with regard to the advancement, innovation, and the development in the technological environment. Again, it is not the favorable or unfavorable itself. It depends on your company. If your company is also, fastly changing, the company is also adapting. The people in the company, they are also adaptable. So it's a favorable thing if the people, if the technological advancement is, fast. But if the environment is growing fast, but you are not growing, again, then the environment is going to be unfavorable for you. So that's how you are going to see it with regards to your business. And if there is no information in the question regarding your business, then obviously you would be just keeping the view that the company is running at its own pace, the company is developing at its own pace, but the environment is growing, changing, innovating, and developing with a very rapid speed. And obviously there is a risk, and there is a threat, an unfavorable risk, that maybe the company would stay behind the environment or everyone, right? So this is all about the technological environment. Now if we are clear with this, we would move forward towards the ecological environment. All right. So the ecological environment, when I talk about the ecological environment, I'm saying that you are required to focus on the ecological factors. All right. What are the ecological factors? Ecological factors such as the ecosystem, all right, the sustainability and the sustainability reporting, global warming, carbon emissions, eco-friendly practices, cleaner and greener processes and the products, harmful impacts of the waste dumping, carbon footprints. You have to analyze that how much is the importance is given to all these things into your environment, into your country. If the people are giving too much importance to these things, then you have to be very careful, that you have to understand that your ecological environment and the ecological factors, they exist and they have the value. These things have the value. And as a business, you have to make sure that you do not violate and you do not go against these things. You do not adopt the un healthy or harmful practices. You do not adopt the unsustainable or the non-sustainable practices. You do not increase your carbon footprint. You do not waste dump your waste irresponsibly. So because if you would do this, there has to be some pressure groups, some NGOs, some government authorities who are giving these things importance, and obviously they are not going to stay silent. They are going to take some actions against you, and these actions are going to be unfavorable for you. All right. You might face a strike from the pressure groups, activists, or the NGOs. All right. You might face penalties from your regulators. You might face fines from the regulators. You might face the additional taxes because of your carbon footprint, because of your non-cleaner and non-greener practices. All right. So this could happen, right? So that is why, obviously, again, the other thing is that you have to see that how much the importance is given to the environmental audits, because if in your country the environmental audits, they are being conducted strictly, that means that the people are very much conscious about the ecological factors. And if you would do anything against it, they can bring the unfavorable things to you. And if you are doing anything which is aligned with them, they will bring favorable things for you, right? And also there is one thing that the more the customers they are conscious about the environment, they will more support the companies who are eco-friendly. you know uh, if you are sourcing the eco-friendly sources, the inputs, the raw material from the eco-friendly sources, you are you are using the energy sources which are renewable, which are not harmful to the world which are not harmful for the ecosystem. You are using the organic products. You are not using the chemical fertilizers in producing the raw materials. You are not using the chemicals or the harmful chemicals into your production that is emitting the huge amount of carbon dioxide, huge amount of harmful gases, harmful chemicals, which are either thrown into the sea, which are either dumped into the landfills, which are spoiling the land, which are spoiling the sea. So if you are not doing all these things, then you are becoming the eco-friendly company. All right. Responsible dumping of the wastage, carbon neutral. If you are becoming the carbon neutral, that the amount of carbon which you are emitting by your production, and also you are planting the trees. So the trees, they are giving you the oxygen, they are taking the carbon dioxide back to them. So the emission and the absorption, if it is equal, that means that you are becoming the carbon neutral from your environmental friendly activities. So if you are carbon neutral, you are responsible in waste dumping, you are sourcing organic product, you are using the environmental friendly sources for the inputs, raw material, and also for the energy. That means you are becoming the eco-friendly company, and the customer is now going to support you. How they are going to support you? That even if your quality is lower than your competitor and your prices are maybe higher than or maybe slightly higher than your competitor, still the people who are environmentally conscious, they are going to support you. They are going to purchase from you because they are supporting these things. They are not supporting directly to you, but indirectly. See, I told you that either directly or either indirectly, these factors are going to either give you benefit or either give you disadvantages. So you have to be very careful, right? So these things are going to help you if you align with them, and you have to identify these kind of factors, that whether or not the people are giving them importance. If they are giving them importance, you have to check, because if you are not aligning with them, they can become unfavorable for you. If you are aligning with them, they can become the favorable things for you. All right. So now we are left with the only last element of the pestle analysis, that is the legal environment, and we will cover it, and then we would be done with the pestle analysis. All right. So now let's move forward and cover the last element, that is the legal aspect or the legal environment. So when I talk about the legal environment, you have to identify the legal factors and then analyze whether they are favorable or whether they are unfavorable, and that is what the objective of the pestle analysis is. All right. So when you are focusing or when you are analyzing the legal environment, what you need to do, you have to focus on the numbers of applicable laws and regulation. You have to identify that how many laws and regulation they are applicable on the business, because I don't know how many of you have played the any sports into the ground, or maybe you have ridden the bike, or you have driven the car, or whatever. If you have done, whatever we do, we like to do it freely. We do not like too many restriction. We do not like too much distraction, too much. You cannot do this thing. You cannot do this thing. You cannot do this thing that way. So the more there are restrictions, the more it gets unattractive, and the more it becomes difficult, and the more it's take away the charm of that thing. And that is similarly for the businesses as well, that the businesses, they do not like too much restriction. They like to do the business freely. So if you are imposing too many laws and regulations for them, again it becomes the unfavorable thing for the business, like corporate law, tax law, health and safety law, environmental law, competition on the monopoly act, labor and the unemployment laws, data protection laws. Don't worry, we are not supposed to study all of them. These are just the examples or the names for your understanding, that these kind of laws are applicable on many companies in many countries, and you have to identify them, that how many laws and regulation are applicable to the company, right? Because what I am trying to make you understand is that in legal factors, you would be identifying that the frequency of the formation of the new laws, because the quickly or the rapidly more laws are coming into the formation, that means that again new laws are coming, new restrictions are coming, right? The legal formalities and the complexities you need to do, That means that whatever you need to do legally, you have to go through a long processes, many approvals. You have to stay into the lines for hours. You have to take the approvals of many people, and then you have to give the grease money, bribery as well, to do this thing legally. So, for example, if you want to acquire a patent or the copyright of anything, and you have to go through a long process, don't you think that many of the businesses would be very reluctant and not interested to go through that long and complex filing and the formalities of the legal procedure, because of the cost and the time they would waste into it, and they would say, okay, we don't need that patent and copyright, take it to yourself, right? Because they would make it unattractive to them, right? The cost of compliance, obviously, these laws and regulations, there has to be some cost of compliance. How? Again, let me explain to you. For the first thing, that the new laws, you have to first identify and understand them, right? You have to identify what are the new laws coming into the country. First you have to keep eye on them. All right. Then once they are issued, you have to understand them, and then you have to understand that how they are applying on you, what are the new restrictions they are imposing on you, and what are the changes which you need to make into your business as per the new laws. For example, the new law come and it says that, in your company now you have to maintain the 50-50 ratio of the male and women's, all right, males and females, all right. But right now in your company 90% people are male and 10% people are females, all right. So this is the new law which you have to comply with. But right now the females are very less and you have to increase it to 50%. The question is that how you going to arrange the female employees that quickly? All right. Obviously you will have to hire and employ new employees which are females. You have to train them, because obviously the new employee, either it is male or it is female, you have to train them. And it is obviously not that much easy to find a good female into that market where the males were in too much dominance and too much majority. So it would be difficult for you to find the females who are ready to work, who are competent to work, right? Because competency and incompetency, it's a part of the work. It is not related to the gender. But again, if the market is too much dominated, that you will be facing the difficulties in arranging the females employees, right? So that's how you have to incur one more cost of the compliance as well, that you have to now comply with them. And if you would not comply with them, you have to face the penalties. All right, you have to face the penalties, and it is again a cost for you. So the strict or lenient, again you will see that how much the law is strict and lenient in your country. For example, if the law is made, new laws are coming, things are complex, but the law is not that much strict. If you are violating it, if you are not following it, they are not going to punish you. They are not going to put fines and penalties on you. Again, if it is the case, then you would say, okay, make as many law as you can. We do not care about it, right? So that is how it is. It works, and that is how you need to analyze. If it's a strict legal environment, then you have to take care about everything, because they are going to punish you, they are going to penalize you, and they are going to impose fine on you, right? So the key is that you have to look at the legislation, compliances, and the restriction which are being imposed on you by the legal environment or the legislation or the laws and regulation, and related costs which you have to pay to comply with them. And if you are not complying with them, you have to pay the cost in the form of fines and penalties, right? So this is what the Pestel analysis is all about. I hope that I was able to explain all of the element in very detail to you. And if you have any question, you can always reach me out on my WhatsApp number. So see you all in the next lecture. Till then, take care of yourself. Allah Hafiz.